Okay, so here is the lab. I was explaining that how they gonna do the synchronization with the server. What they will do, they will go to this run, and then there is server details. They will run it. Everyone, I hope, understand how they do the RDP, remote desktop protocol, or remote desktop connection they establish with the device. Anyone has done that means they go to the run, and then they run that application, remote desktop application, and then they establish the connection.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so Active Directory team is going to do that, means you will provide your tenant ID, and they will also do the synchronization with your AD connect. It is done. You have all the data which was there on the Active Directory server. You have all the data here now. Now you have to create the group. Let me open Intune dot. It is behaving so weird today.
I have this question. Okay. You, we told like we are going to migrate from on-premises to
Cloud.
cloud, right? So on-premises, I would already have one domain ID in
Mm-hmm.
a specific name. Example, if it could be google.com. Okay.
Okay.
And on the cloud, I cannot create same google.com because you cannot have two. It will create a conflict, right? One domain name is very unique.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, do they create Google new kind of a domain ID and after cut over, after migrating everything from on-premises to cloud, they rename it to google.com? Or how do they do? Because if they don't want to change the domain ID.
No, no,
No.
they are not going to do that. Means if they are going to manage it from the cloud, they won't do it on AD. They'll
Okay.
transfer everything on Intune, means on cloud. Then they are gonna do that. I'm not too much sure about it, but yeah, it was a good question. I can explore about it, and then I can explain that how they gonna do that. But as of my understanding, if they are going to migrate on cloud, so they are gonna do from cloud only.
So, as you said, like we create, if I'm going to create a new tenant on the Entra, that
Mm-hmm.
is on the cloud, and then I share it to the on-premises AD team, Active Directory team, they
Yeah, yeah.
can sync everything, users, groups,
Hmm.
devices, and app.
Yeah, they
That's it.
do the sync. Yeah, they do the sync. They will understand that you are working on that particular cloud thing. There is configuration manager, one application, or some other platform. They will use it so that the configuration, the connection between your cloud and between on-premise can be done. So once the connection is done, there is a flow of data from one place to another, as I was explaining here. Okay. So the data flow will be established from one place to another. This is on-premise and this is cloud. So there will be a data flow between both of them. From here it will flow to here, from here to here. Because of what? We have done the AD synchronization.
Okay.
Okay. Till here we have understood. Now coming to the groups. We have the users now available in your platform intune.microsoft.com. Okay. We have the users. What we have to do now? We have to create the groups for them. For creating the groups, we gonna use that dynamic query, because we cannot do one by one. What we will do, we will create a group named as HR department karke, and then we will put the dynamic query. How dynamic query is going to look like? So let's take an example. Okay, this is all groups. For an example, we will just create a group with the name HR department or something. HR department, we'll name as construction. You can define the group description means for what purpose you are creating it, and now directory dynamic user, because it is going to be the user group. You are gonna bifurcate the users on the basis of their user identities, not the device identity. So we're gonna create in this way, adding the dynamic query. So how dynamic query is gonna look like? As I have already opened it. Okay. So dynamic queries look like this. Sometimes in exam in MD-102 you are going to get the dynamic queries mentioned like this. If device ID device OS type is equal to Windows, so it is referring to the device thing, and it refers to user also. If username is equal to or user department is equal to HR, then we will run that query in our group. Okay, and all the devices, all the users which are having HR as their department, they will come under that group. That part is done. Same thing we are gonna do that with other two departments, construction engineers and paying department. So we will just mention that user identities, user department equal to, here we will write the construction engineer or whatever the department has been specified for those set of the users. Then we will run this dynamic query. There is an option of testing the dynamic query as well. You can validate the rules which you have defined in. So if it is correct, then only it is going to create the group as per your tenant, or else it will show error. So you can modify the query and then you can create the group. Once the group is created, you have the group with you. What you will do? You will come to the application. You come to the application. Then in the application, there is assignment section as told. In the assignment, you will go and add the application. Now we have a question here, that where we gonna add it. There are no apps. So, okay, let's assume that, or else let me open the another tenant which we have. Okay, this one. Okay, we will come to the apps. Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes,
Yes, we
bro.
can.
Okay. So we have Microsoft project application. Let's say an example, and we have to deploy it to the HR department. That this application is must to be installed on their devices. Okay, from the organization perspective. So we have the assignment section. We will go to the edit. Now I have a question that you guys have to tell which section we gonna add that group, HR group, in required, in available, or in uninstall. This is a very simple one.
Required ammo.
Why required? Why not available? Okay, so why required? Because your organization or your company policy says that this application is must to be installed on HR department users devices. If you will make it available, it will be just visible in the company mode portal, and HR or the employee might miss installing the application from company portal after your instruction also. So what you gonna do that? First of all means We are assuming that we have performed the UAT, user acceptance test, means testing of this application is done, that it is working and it is getting deployed properly, and there is no problem in the application in the deployment. Then only we gonna do that. We are going to add that group here and we will push that application. As soon as the devices will be syncing with Intune, they'll be having this application silently installed on their devices. Same way we're gonna do that for construction engineer uh, employees. We're gonna create the dynamic group for them and give the dynamic query department is equal to construction engineer, and then the group is created. We're gonna come to that application which is required for construction engineers, and then we're gonna push that. So everyone understood that?
Yeah, Vipin, but what about the license of those applications? Will it get automatically activated, or we have to do any settings to activate those applications
Okay,
once it's deployed?
coming to the license, means the license part I wasn't talking about because that's not the actual the license application. As you have asked about the licenses, so licenses can be pushed. Could you please mute yourself because I'm getting the voice back? Okay, good. So licenses we gonna deploy through the configuration thing. If you wanna do that from configuration end, you can deploy the license from configuration. Or once you are packaging those applications, while the packaging, there is license key of that application mentioned in the package. What it will do? There are some applications when you open it, they ask for the license key. An example that can be Adobe also asks for the license key or the license to run on the device. What we're gonna do that we are going to mention that license key in the package. Once that package will be pushed, it will automatically do the things in the background, and then the license is there for the user, and user is able to use the application. So it's totally the part of packaging thing, how the application is getting packaged. So once we will be talking about the packaging, I'll be explaining that how they are going to differentiate inside the package about the license. So there are two packages that they will create. First package is just going to do the configuration part, registration part for that application, that we call as deep link. So first the deep link will be installed in the user's device, means there is a trust between the application and the user. Now once the deep link is installed on the device, there is a trust between user and application. Now the license, it means that license, for the license the user is being ticked. There is IDM portal, from there they manage the licenses. There can be other portals in your organization, from there they manage the licenses of the applications. So they will it will just get automatically ticked at that place, and the user is going to have that license for that application. That is all. It's a very complicated flow to understand, but as of now, from MD-102 perspective, we are understanding the things. So let's not much deep dive into it. But for an overview part, I have just briefly explained it how it works actually in the background. So we were going to cover that configuration, intra-device registration. Everyone has understood that how we do that. Anyone? That how we do register the device, do the registration part. Okay, let me refresh.
Yeah, we already did, right? This
Mhm, yeah,
part, the
yeah,
registration
mhm.
through Connect
True connect.
settings.
Yeah, connect
Yeah.
settings. Okay, I have a question now. I'm getting my voice back, Jenny. Okay, so I have a question that in your organization, there are new users coming and they have been asked that they should brought their devices if they want to use the services of the company. And user says that I don't want my device to be managed by your organization, by your IT engineers. I should be the administrator of the device and I want to use the services that organization is going to provide. What scenario we are gonna adopt that we can fulfill the user's employee requirement also, and there is no policy breach from the organization perspective.
You can use man policies.
Okay, anyone else?
They can join to the account and they can click on join Entra ID and then click log in with their credentials.
Okay, so there is a functionality named as BYOD. Anyone knows the full form of it? BYOD.
Bring your own
Okay, great. So it is bring your own device. So bring your own device functionality is achieved by the joining. The registration type is going to be joined for those devices. What they will do, they will just go to work or school account. They will join their identity. Identity means user ID, and they are able to use the services. It depends upon them when they want to remove the device. They can go to the same place and then select disconnect. They are disconnected. Means IT engineer don't have to do anything. You just have to do the configuration part. Means how you gonna push the policies, how you gonna push the services to the user or application to the user. Means those who are BYOD enrolled. So there is a configuration setting that we set up and then we push it. We're gonna learn that configuration moving forward with this lab. Here it is a scenario that is given to us. Several users have asked to use their personal iOS, Android, and Windows devices to access so and so cloud resources. Since Consorso does not own the Windows devices, you don't want to have the users perform an intra join because intra join can only be performed on Windows devices. So I think Rajagopal was saying if the user is having Android or iOS device, how the user is going to join the device, because the joining of the device can only be performed on the Windows. Anyone? Any answer for that?
Sorry,
can
what is
Means joining of the device can only be performed on Windows. Guys, I'm getting my voice back from someone's speaker. Okay, so if user is having Android or iOS device instead of Windows, so how we gonna perform this joining part? Anyone? Any explanation? Or it can be anything, means whatever you have understood till now, accordingly you can tell.
I think we have to download company portal in the laptop, sorry, in the mobile, and then we have to enter our credentials, company credentials.
Right. It's so correct. So if you install the company portal in the device, then you log into the company portal, you're gonna do the same thing, joining thing, registration thing. But there is a difference that joining intra-join part that is going to be available on the Windows device only. But for understanding, once we download the company portal, we do the same thing on iOS and Android devices. So it says that instead you need to ensure that users are able to register their devices with Intra, which still allows you to apply company policy to apps as needed and still permit users to access Contoso resources. You will test out intra device registration using a Windows 11 device. Okay, so it is going to test that with the Windows 11, which we have already tested it. So I'm going to skip this part. Is it okay for everyone or should I explain it?
I think we are okay. It's pretty
Okay,
straightforward.
everyone.
Vipin, we can also register Windows devices as well, right? Apart from iOS or Android. So apart from
We can do the intra join means registration only. It's intra joining means registration.
So we have three types of joining, right? One is completely Azure AD joined, Azure AD register,
Yeah,
and Hybrid AD.
yeah.
So in that case, you can all these three is it different, right? In that case, you can apply all these three into Windows.
Yeah, all these
And
three can be applied into the Windows.
so Windows joint is nothing but it is an corporate device, whereas register you can try with bring your own device.
Yeah, try with bring your own device. You will just put your credentials, log in, you are registered. Joining
So
part, joining
that
part.
works with Windows also, right?
Yeah, that works with Windows also. In the Windows
Okay.
work
What
or
about
school,
Mac OS? That is different, right?
Mac OS also you can download the company portal and you can do on Mac OS as well.
Oh, okay, got it.
Same way you do on iOS devices and Android devices, you can do same way on Mac OS. You can download the
Ah,
company portal and then do that.
mhm.
So this we have already learned. Performing intra registration part also we have done it. Okay, then checking the status. So this is the command. I hope I have included in the notes or I forgot. Okay, so this is the command used to check whether the device is at which state, workplace joined, workplace registered, or what. So once we perform the joining part, so we have tested it, how it shows as in the PowerShell means once you want to check the status. This part was done. This device is Microsoft Intra registered, not intra joined. Intra registered devices are typically devices that cannot be intra joined or devices that are personally owned by the user. So what I was explaining here, it mentions the same thing that the device is Microsoft intra registered, not Microsoft intra joined. Intra registered devices are typically devices that cannot be intra joined. Means the device which you have done the registration, they cannot be typically joined with your intra. You cannot do the join. You cannot perform intra join on those devices or devices that are personally owned by the users. Means the devices which are personally owned by the users, we can perform only registration thing on those devices. Till here we are clear.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. So now moving ahead, we have done the registration part. Now it is saying that how we can disconnect it. If user has brought their own device and do the registration to avail the service, now user is leaving, user is going to some other organization, employee is going to some other organization. What employee will do? Employee will go to that school or work or school account and they will just click on the disconnect. It's disconnected. Okay, the device will be removed from the cloud. So we're gonna test that also. Okay, we have done this already, I expect. So we have to make it sure once we remove the tenant from your device, means the registration you remove it or user removes the registration, it requires a restart. So here the registration part is completed. Moving ahead, manage devices enrollment into Intune. Now comes the main part. In this lab, you prepare the device management using Microsoft Intune by reviewing and assigning licenses. Licenses, we do it from which portal? Anyone?
Admin M365 admin portal.
Yes, M365 admin portal. Then configuring Windows automatic enrollment. We will configure the setting of Windows automatic enrollment and configuring enrollment restriction. We will also do that in this lab. To follow lab must be completed means this lab must be completed. Managing identities, intra ID synchronization, we have done it. You will also need a mobile phone that can receive. Okay, this is for the authentication part. Now we have the scenario that you need to prepare for device management using Microsoft Intune. First of all, you need to ensure that users are assigned appropriate licenses. We have already assured that users are already having the appropriate licenses. We can validate that too. We will be validating it. Okay, for devices management, as a verification test, you will assign Aaron Nicholas the required license. So, what is the required license to be assigned to to enroll a device in Intune in cloud for a user? Anyone?
E3 or E5.
The full name you have to tell, or E3, E5. It can be Microsoft 365 E3 or E5.
Hmm.
So we have to be clear here. It is Enterprise Mobility E3 or E5. So its name is Enterprise Mobility E3 or E5. Microsoft 365 E3 or E5 will give access to only M365 applications or web-based applications. Till here we are good. Moving ahead. You also need to ensure that any Windows device that is joined or registered to Intra ID will automatically be enrolled into Intune. So it is saying that we have to also make it sure that we did in previous two labs. You have also been asked to ensure that members of the sales group are restricted from enrolling personal Android devices into Intune, that the enrollment device limit is increased by 10 devices. Now, here it is giving you a scenario that they are asked to, means you are asked to restrict sales department to enroll their Android devices. What you will do? You will restrict the BYOD enrollment for them. Okay, so here I'm answering, but we are going to learn all these things. So we have to read the scenario first. Enrolling personal devices into Intune, that enrollment device limit is increased to 10 devices. Finally, you need to configure Alan DeYoung as a device enrollment manager to allow him to enroll 1000 devices. Why this scenario to be adopted? Anyone can answer. Why we assign a particular user as a device enrollment engineer? For an example, let me explain it. Means I hope that there are different perspectives can come regarding that, because I haven't explained it till now. You are an IT engineer, you are an architect. Let's think like that. You are an architect sitting here in India. Your company is functioning in different part of the world. Now you are asked that you have to manage the things. You have to get the devices couriered or get the devices sent to the employees, those who are working in your organization. They are on the hybrid mode, means they are working from home currently, and you have been asked to do that. What you will do? You will get the device from vendor and send it from India to US or some other country or Singapore or Canada or Britain. It is going to be too costly for you. The shipment part is going to be too costly. What we will do? We know that our company is there also in that country, in Britain or in England. The country is there in England. Okay, the company is there in England, and you are sitting here in India as an architect. What you will do? You will ask the vendor, whoever vendor is there in England, HP, Lenovo, or Dell, from which vendor you are good to establish the connection. You can do that. Let's take Dell. Okay, so you ask Dell, which is there in England, that you need 1000 devices, because you have thousand users. You have 1000 devices, so and so is the address of those users. You want those users should have these devices with everything done. Means company or company policy, company configuration, enrollment part is done. What they have to do? They will just open the device. Users will just open the device, put in their password they have to put, not even credential. Okay, so that is the autopilot thing, that is called zero touch deployment. So sometimes what happens, that they might face some issue. So what we do, we take one user from or one IT engineer. We place one IT engineer at that place, and we make that IT engineer as enrollment manager, and then we assign everything to that IT engineer, and they are managing things. So here Alan DeYoung is an IT engineer sitting at some other place, and you are doing the zero touch deployment. Okay, so this is a scenario of the zero touch deployment. It is very interesting to do. Once you have understood the scenario, what is actually happening in the background, the cloud thing is bringing this story into the scene, that you don't have to work a lot. Earlier, IT engineers always used to be around the users. There should be 5 employees sitting here in front of you, in on your head, asking that, yeah, I need this help, I need this help. But the cloud technology has made this very smooth and very clear. Okay, coming to the part review and assignment of the licenses. We are on step 1 and we have logged in. Now where we have to go? See, admin.microsoft.com. This is the portal for what? Anyone?
License and billing management.
Great. This is M365 admin portal from where you assign the licenses. We will come here. It is already logged in with your R admin credentials. It is taking the SSO. Can anyone tell me the full form of SSO?
Single sign-on.
Okay. Anyone? Anyone
Single
speaking?
sign-on.
Okay, okay.
Single sign-on.
So single sign-on it is taking, and it is taking, and then it is logging in directly. Okay. So it has logged in. Now what we have to do, we can just validate the things whether all your organization users are visible here or not. They are visible. Now we have to select Aaron Nicholas. Okay, users, active users. We have to go to the users, active users. Here we will search Aaron Nicholas. Here it is Aaron Nicholas. We will select this user. Come to the licenses and apps because we have to assign the license. Location is already defined. Now which license needs to be assigned to the user? As mentioned, for managing the devices in Intune, or to enroll the device in Intune, sorry, we have to assign these licenses. Enterprise Mobility plus Security E5, Office 365 E5, no Teams, or E3 also it can be. It depends upon your organization licensing part. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to check Enterprise Mobility E5 and I'm going to check Office 365 no Teams. Then save changes, saving, it is done. We will close it and we will validate it as well. Aaron Nicholas, try refreshing the okay. Aaron Nicholas is here. Let's validate the licenses. See, the licenses are assigned to this user now, or 365 E5 and Enterprise Mobility plus Security E5. It's done. Now enable Windows automatic enrollment into Microsoft Intune. We're gonna learn that how we are going to enable the Windows automatic enrollment into Microsoft Intune. We are on admin Intune. Okay. We are going to configure the setting. We cannot directly do it, that we can ask the user to do the enrollment and then it is done. First of all, we will set up our cloud platform so that it is ready to enroll the devices, the automatic enrollment. It is ready with the automatic enrollment. So from where we are going to do that, we will come to the devices, all devices. We will come to the enrollment part. From here, we configure the settings for the enrollment. Okay, device onboarding. Device onboarding section. We are on the device onboarding section. It is so hectic to use.
Automatic enrollment, bro.
Yeah. We will click on automatic enrollment. I think this is not the one. Device onboarding section. Device platform restriction. Windows autopilot is not actually required. That settings I'm unable to see. Wait.
Yes, I think that's the same one you're looking for. Automatic enrollment, the one you clicked just now.
Okay, enrollment option.
Yeah, that's the one.
I thought that it is side. It's not visible properly. Okay. So
Yeah.
we are on this automatic enrollment. MDM user scope is going to be all because it is going to allow, we are going to allow for all users. MDM terms of use URL is going to be this portal.manage.microsoft.com so that we can apply the terms, whatever the cloud terms are applied for automatic enrollment. It is going to be the same for everyone, almost for all the organizations. MDM user scope we have done. By preparing this setup, you enabled automatic enrollment into Intune for any user that performs an intra join or intra registration from Windows devices. See, until unless you have not configured this setting, you cannot ask the user to perform the enrollment. Okay, now we have to do MDM user scope. We have done okay. We have to do enrollment restriction part so that users cannot enroll their Android devices as it was asked in the scenario that you have to block. You have also been asked to ensure that members of sales and groups are restricted from enrolling personal device Android devices into Intune. So what we going to here what we did, we allowed for all the users that they can do the enrollment. So all the users can do the enrollment on all the platforms that they want to do. We will come back. Second thing what we are going to do that configure enrollment restriction devices device onboarding enrollment. We came to the enrollment page. Enrollment options. This is device limit restriction. Okay. We'll come to the device platform restriction because we gonna restrict only Android devices. So for Windows devices, all users can enroll the Windows devices. What we have to do, we have to select the Android restriction. Okay, it is assigned to everyone that they can enroll the Android devices. But we have to restrict it only for sales department. Okay, notice that there is a default device type restriction that is assigned to all users. This default restriction allows all device types. In the details pane, Android restriction became. Now we going to create the restriction for Android devices. Name it as this, as asked. So in MD-102 exam, you are going to get the lab, the same lab over which I am working. The lab will be like this only. You will be asked to perform the task with your admin credentials. So let's complete this description. We will keep it like that. You can define the description according to your things. On the platform settings page under personally owned, select block for the following devices: Android Enterprise and Android Devices Administrator. So as we have asked to block the enrollment, so we are going to do that. Android Enterprise work profile, we gonna block it. It has asked. Okay. Android Device Administrator, we gonna block it. No. For the platform, we gonna allow it, but personally owned, we gonna block it. Then we will click on next. Scope tags not required. Assignment, we will select the groups. So which group is going to be selected? Sales group, because we are blocking for the only sales people, sales users. So sales users already there in the sales group and we are going to add them. Next, review and create, done. 56 users are there. Okay, so here also we can see the things that how many users are there. It's done. Android personal devices restriction assigned with a priority of 1. Why with the priority of 1? There is a reason behind that, because users enroll their Android devices or means phone devices usually once they know that the functionality or the services can be availed on the phone as well. So that is why it is just a common thing that being done for all the organization. They do the restriction part for some use cases only, but not for the all use cases. Just for an understanding, I'm telling. On the enrollment pane, a device limit restriction, we have to set the device limit also, that user cannot enroll more than 10 devices. And it was asked in the scenario device limit restriction, we will come, we will then there is a default device limit restriction that is assigned to all users, that 5 devices, all users cannot enroll more than 5 devices. We will create the restriction. Name, sales device enrollment. Next, we will select here 10 as asked. Only 10 devices can be enrolled. On scope tag, next assignment, add groups. We will add sales again here. Next, create, done. Okay, what I'm going to do from today, I will be jotting down these options. Okay, first of all, I will prepare lab by myself, means I will prepare the instruction on a note. Okay, I will write down the instruction what you have to do, and then I will give it to you guys. As you guys are already having your tenants, you can log into your tenant and you can perform those actions. You can create like 10 to 20 users, okay, with different departments, and then you can test these things whether you are able to create it from over which option you have to go, and you have to do the restriction part, you have to do the enrollment setup part. So these things, for that I have to prepare the note, because I cannot copy these things and give it to you guys directly. It cannot be copied. Is it okay for everyone?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's stop it here only. We are done with the time also. So device restriction part, we have created it. So till now what we have learned today? We have learned that what is the scenario or what types of questions on scenario based we get in the MD-102. I explained one scenario. And Then I explained that how enrollment settings is configured from Intune part, how the data communication is happening between the Active Directory and your cloud technology, your cloud platform which you have adopted. So that was all for the day. We will be learning from tomorrow about configuring a device enrollment manager, how we gonna do that. So yet we are not on the autopilot. We are just moving towards the autopilot thing. That is going to be interesting, and autopilot only allows you just zero touch deployment. Okay guys, so let's wrap it up for today.
Right. Thank
If,
you.
if anybody have any questions, I can